One of the biggest mistakes that buyers actually make, and I can't believe this, and this is like the most simplest thing, is that buyers do not get a home inspection, which is, I don't understand why, especially with these new home builds. And a lot of times buyers are really under the impression, they're buying a brand new home from a credible builder, that there's nothing wrong with the property. But I hate to tell you this, believe it or not, you have more problems with a brand new home build than a resale home that's less than 3 years old, believe it or not. Now in the past, I have consumers reach on out to me where they actually bought a brand new home and didn't do a home inspection, and 6 months later, while they were just sitting in the house, they started realizing there were problems with the home. And as they were looking around, one problem led to another, became more problems and became a nightmare. And this is the problem that a lot of buyers will have. It's like once they close on the home, they have these issues, then they contact the builder. Then what happens is they have to go through a customer care department. And what happens is it takes a while to get all these repairs done, or the superintendent will come out there and say, there's nothing wrong, this is to code. The question is, how do you know if it's really to code? And this is very important. And I'm gonna explain this again and again until you guys get it. Get a home inspection regardless if it is a brand new home. Now, I think one of the problems is that when a buyer is like so excited to get a brand new home, they go out and watch like our YouTube videos and they get educated on our videos, right? And they just go to a new home track because they think that they can save a lot of money and they can negotiate their own deals, because they're under the impression by, if I go in, I negotiate my deal, I don't have an agent, the builder doesn't have to pay the agent, there's more room for a spread, that you're going to get a better deal. Well, guys, that's false information. And a lot of times the sales agent that represents the builder, that sales agent says, you don't need a real estate agent, right? We have quality control. The county has to come out here and inspect our property, right? We go through a 100 checkpoint list. You don't need a real estate agent to help you through the process and walk you through the process. And you're like, yeah, I completely understand. Now you have trust in that sales rep that represents the builder, but you not knowing that you literally signed a contract stating that whatever they tell you, we do not represent you, but we will walk you and guide you through the process. And that's the worst thing that you can do, because when you are building a house from the foundation, there's really 7 components to a house. It's the foundation, it's the structure of the house, it's the roof, it's the plumbing, it's the electrical, right? It's the HVAC. It's also the installation of the home. That's very important. A couple things that you need to be aware. Hiring a home inspector will be one of the most important things in purchasing a brand new home. Yes, does it cost you money? Yes, it will. But at least you will have a peace of mind. Another thing that these sales agents will tell you is, don't worry. We have a warranty on the home. Yes, it is true that you have a warranty, but the last thing that you want to do is take possession of the property and now there's problems and you're already moved in. Now, they're all different types of home warranties when it comes to a brand new home. People think you just get a home warranty with the builder and you're fine. Unfortunately, that is not true. And this is important, that you must take a look at the contract, because from one builder to another builder, it's completely different. So for an example, you may have a builder that may give you a bumper to bumper 1-year warranty, right? If you got like some cracks in your home, but they don't want you to call them every time you get a crack. They want you to wait till a full year, then call them out and fix all the cracks. Unless there's like some major issues as far as like plumbing and electrical. Now, typically the plumbing and electrical, depending on the builder, is typically about 3 years. Now, the structural is 5 years and the foundation is 10 years. But this is what you're not aware of. The warranty is not directly through the builder. They are warranties through the third-party company, other than the 1-year bumper to bumper. Now, again, I want to go over the third-party warranties and kind of like the rules and how this actually works. So when you read these contracts, what you're going to notice is like the foundation is through a third-party company, and these are like a 10-year warranty, and that's just for the foundation alone. Now, one thing that you need to be aware of is that the foundation are typically with post-tension slabs. And what that means is when they pour the concrete, they put these cables that cross each other, and at the end of these foundations, they'll tighten it up. So there's a lot of pressure. So that way when the earth shifts, the house shifts, right? And you don't have any cracks. But what they actually have in the contract that you need to be aware of is the drain swell to the home. Now, what is the drain swell? If we take a look at the foundation and the perimeter wall, you want to have a slope that pitches the water away from your backyard and outside of your house. Now, if you have plants or you're putting in the pool and your foundation cracks and there's an investigation, now they find out that you didn't have the proper drain swell, now you're going to void your foundation warranty. Now, the structural typically it's about a 5-year depending on the builder. Now, keep in mind, the home is going to shift. You're going to get some cracks. But one thing that I always see is that inside the attic, sometimes these trusses are cracked and it's not replaced. But the problem is that how do you know if these trusses are cracked or not? Okay. And that's the reason why you need to have a home inspector to go inside to take a look at the truss, because when you're doing your home inspection, or I'm sorry, when you are doing your new home orientation, the problem here is that you guys don't go inside the attic. And I'll explain what a new home orientation is. Okay. Now, electrical and plumbing, 3 to 5 years. Now, this is a quick tip. I do want to make sure that you understand this. Let's say you got your brand new home. Okay. Yes. Electrical and plumbing is warranted, but let's just say in the kitchen, you decide to change out some outlets, some lighting, okay? And something ends up happening. Now you could actually void those areas if there's a problem with your electrical. Or for another example, for like plumbing, let's just say you decided to get a soft water loop directly from the builder, pre-plumbed. And you move into your home, about 5 months later, you get a soft water system. Now that you get a soft water system installed, right? And let's just say the soft water system, there's something wrong with it, and all the salt starts going into the plumbing lines throughout the whole house, and it clogs the line. Now a plumber comes out and they say, look, it's completely clogged. We got to open up all valves. We got to clean everything out. Now the builder is going to no longer give you that warranty. You just void the warranty, okay? So now this is a quick tip. If you decide that you want to put a soft water system, you need to make sure to check out who the vendors are for that builder and use the same vendors. So that way, if something does happen, you're not void your warranty. You don't want to void your warranty, right? So just make sure to do that. Now, windows are 3 to 5 years, depending on the brand of the window. And also when it comes to the window, remember, the warranty is not directly through the builder. The warranty is through a third-party manufacturing company. But also you need to take a look at the company's specifications and guidelines so that way you don't void your warranty. Some of these windows may say you can only use certain type of blinds. Do not use tint because these windows can get very pricey. Appliances are 3 to 10 years, just depending on the manufacturer. This is something that you need to get directly from the manufacturer company when it comes to the warranty. So what I want you to do is the day that you close on the home, you need to make sure, number one, you have all the manuals, you got the serial numbers, and get these appliances registered immediately. So that way, if there's any problems, you can get replacements or the manufacturer will get these things fixed. Unfortunately, the builder is not going to come out and replace a new washer, new dryer, or fix the refrigerator. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to go through that third-party manufacturer company to get these parts replaced or fixed. Your air conditioning unit. These are also done by third-party companies, the manufacturer companies as well. So what I like about these AC units, they're typically about 15 to 20 years, this depending on the brand. So make sure to read the manufacturer warranty with parts and labor. Typically, these will be included. It just really depends. And also keep this in mind that you need to get these things like registered like ASAP as soon as you purchase the home. Another thing, if there's something wrong with your unit and it's not working, can you contact the builder? Yes, the builder will actually send out their third-party company. However, if you decide to send out another third-party company that's not affiliated with that builder, they end up tinkering with the AC unit and the builder finds out, you just literally void your full warranty directly with the builder when it comes to the air conditioning or HVAC system. Okay, so it is very important that you use these third-party companies and request the vendor list sheet. Now, how does this process actually work when it comes to a home inspection with the builder? Now, depending on the builder, the process is a little bit different. And also the names of the process is a little bit different. So let me give you an example. You may have one builder, they may have a two-step process. They have a new home orientation and then the final walk. Now, some builders may have it called a first walk or a second walk. But for this video, let's just call it a new home orientation and our first walk. So what this does, it allows you and the builder with the superintendent, for the superintendent to walk you through the house to show you all the components and the functions of the house. But also during this time period, if you see something visually that you don't like, they will tape it, which is a blue tape. And in this industry, we like to call it blue taping, right? If it's a green tape, it's going to be more textural or structural at this time. These new home orientation or first walks could take about 3 hours, just depending on how thorough you want to be. But the problem is this, 99.9% of us, we don't understand new construction. We don't know how to build the home. We don't know if every electrical and outlet is working. Unfortunately, when you're doing these new home orientations, the superintendent is not like checking every single outlet. So how do you know from a buyer perspective of if things are actually done correctly or if they are working properly, right? Another issue that I see here with these superintendents, they don't really thoroughly explain to you the whole process of this and why this is important. And please make sure to point everything out. They just typically want to just kind of be cool and just say, hey, look, this is the process. We're just going to walk through this property. I'm just going to show you all the components. If you see something, let me know. And 99.9% of our consumers or buyers, they're just seeing things visually, right? And they're just taping them. But again, how do you know the bones are actually good? How do you know if the installation is properly installed? So now if there is something that you're not happy with during this process, there will be a checklist that the superintendent will write down all the checklists of items that you want fixed. Then about 7 days before your closing, this is what we call final walkthrough. This is where you're going to walk through again with the superintendent to make sure all those lists of items are completed before you sign off and close on the home. But guys, this is where the problem lies. You don't know structurally if the home or the installation or for all the outlets work. So how do we combat that? You must identify your new home orientation date. Based upon your new home orientation date, then you want to schedule up a home inspection about 48 or 24 hours before, so that way you guys could get a full written report. And that's what this is, a full written report, all in color, and it literally points out everything that is wrong with the home. Now, when it comes to a home inspector, you need to make sure that they are licensed and bonded, okay? Now, with a home inspector, obviously they have to get licensed, right? But also they have to pass a test through the Nevada Contractor Board, right? And as they pass this test, guidelines changes on a consistent basis. Also, the builder has to follow these guidelines. So what happens is, as the home inspector is going through the home, they're going through the whole checklist of making sure that, is this home built to the guidelines and to the new codes, right? A lot of times what builders have been doing, and there's some builders out there, that the builders don't want the home inspectors or buyers to do a home inspection because it prolongs the closing process. So these builders have gotten very smart. What they have been doing is they have been increasing the insurance policy for the home inspector. And a lot of these home inspectors may not have $1 million policy, and the builders are aware of this. So now it's hard for you to find a home inspector that has $1 million insurance. Now, if you guys are having a hard time, reach on out to me. I have a lot of home inspection companies that are insured for over $1 million. Also, the builders will require that the licensing and the bonding and also the insurance or proof of this to be sent over to the builder. So that's the reason why we want to get this sent over to the builder in advance in order to schedule that home inspection. Now, a lot of these superintendents, man, they do not like the home inspectors because they end up picking the property apart. However, you're spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars of the home. Look, it's best that, you do spend the money. But I've noticed a lot of these superintendents, majority of them, do not like home inspectors, and they end up always talking about home inspectors. If you are a superintendent for a new home builder and you're doing this, talking about a home inspector, you're making your company look bad. So I would probably advise you not to say anything bad. Look, at the end of the day, you got to be doing your job as far as the whole purpose of this new home orientation to find out exactly what's wrong, to nip it into the butt, like right away, and get these things fixed. Because at the end of the day, you don't want the consumer to move in and wait around, come to find out there's problems with the home, and now you got to come back and fix all these items. But the reason why the superintendent doesn't care is because they no longer have to deal with this situation because it's no longer in their department. Quality control or customer care is now handling that, and I get it. But I figure if I was the owner of the company, why are we getting more calls at customer care when we can nip it all in the butt now, and also we get better reviews? Because if you take a look, a lot of these reviews from the builders, man, they're not really good. And the front end, as far as the customer service leading all the way up to the end, that's where it really starts falling apart. So if you are one of the big builders out here, please don't be offended. Take this into consideration, okay? Now, the home inspection. Once you get the home inspection done, at this point, you're going to go to the new home orientation. Do not let the superintendent fast talk you. You're going to go room by room, check out all the cabinets, right? Check out the floorings, check out the baseboards. You've already had your home inspector check out all the outlets and all that stuff, so you're good to go. And if you see something that you don't like cosmetically, then you also point that out. But what's most important is that all the things that you had pointed out at this time, when you're done, you got to make sure on that request for repairs, that checklist of all the items that you want on there, because it says on that contract, if you do not add any of those things on those items, when they come back to fix these things, to do the final walkthrough, to make sure those things are done, if it's not on there, they don't have to fix it. So it's very important it is on that list. Now, there's sometimes on that checklist, things can't get done before closing. For an example, let's just say a cabinet was broken. Now the builder had to order that cabinet. Now you can go still to the closing table and sign off on your final walk, but make sure there's another form. It's with the exception of getting these cabinets fixed. Because sometimes what happens is like the cabinets could take about 7 weeks to get, but everything else has been done. At this point, I would say go ahead and close on the home, but you still have this letter just stating that we're still moving forward without these cabinets, but you're going to come back and fix these cabinets, okay? And then at that point, once you close on home, you move in, cabinets come in, they'll schedule an appointment, replace that cabinet. So sometimes like these things can actually happen. Now, one of the most important things I do want to talk about here is that you also need to find the right home inspector, okay? There's so many home inspectors out there, but it's very important to find the right one. You want to make sure that how long have they been in business, what's their insurance policy, right? How many home inspections have you done? Do they actually have a drone? Are they going to actually crawl inside the attic? Because we want to check that insulation, okay? Because sometimes what happens is you may do an upgrade on an insulation, especially with these builders where you're doing a blown-in insulation. You're going from a R30 to a R38, but the thickness is not there. Again, you want to make sure that these home inspectors are also doing the right thing, and you want to hold these home inspectors accountable. But there's a lot of good home inspectors out there, but if you don't have one, especially for new home builds, because you have general home inspectors for resale, but then you also have home inspectors for brand new homes. If you guys don't have one, reach on out to me and I definitely will like to provide you one. All right, guys, that is pretty much it for this video. Now, if you guys haven't had a chance to like subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button because that's going to help me out tremendously. And also give me a thumbs up because what this does is really help out the algorithm for other people looking to buy a home out here in Las Vegas. And let me know in the comments below if you actually bought a home, didn't do a home inspection, and was it bad? Let me know the things that you found out that was wrong with your home. Maybe we'll do a video on that. Other than that, I'm Chuggets with Simply Vegas, and I wish you guys nothing but the best, and be blessed. Peace. If you are considering moving to Las Vegas, we have a lot of free products. We have the relocation guide. Now the relocation guide talks about neighborhoods, surrounding areas, and school zones, hospitals. Now once you subscribe to this, what's included is the Power Pack. What is the Power Pack? The Power Pack also includes the current housing market for the month. This talks about single family residents, condos, and townhomes. And also we have the economic study of what's going on within Las Vegas, Henderson, and North Las Vegas. Now, if you're just a first-time home buyer, just don't really understand the process, we have the free buyer's guide. This will literally walk you and prepare you for your first purchase. Now, if you are planning on financing, you gotta get the mortgage hacks. The mortgage hacks is inside secrets on how to save thousands of dollars of the life of your loan. This also talks about all the type of loan programs, state programs that are available to you as a buyer. Now, if you're also planning on buying a brand new home, but you're not too sure which builder is a better builder, it really comes down to materials and supplies. So this is a comprehensive book that explains everything. 32 questions that you need to ask the builder before you actually buy a home. In addition to that, we also have an educational video that we explain how to actually buy a home. It's actually called the Masterclass Vote, and it's free. It's only about 30 to 40 minutes long, but it's something that is worth looking into. We also have the mortgage calculator. So if you are getting a loan and you want to know what your payments are, mortgage calculator, it breaks it all down and tells you exactly what your payment's going to be. So again, that is free. In addition to that, if you are considering buying or even selling a home, we are offering you a consultation. So it doesn't matter if you're out of state because we can do a video chat live. We get to know each other. We explain everything, how it all works to prepare you to buy a home out here in Las Vegas. So just make sure to visit simplyvegashomes.com, or if you want to set up an appointment, give us a call today. Now, if you want to just view more video home tours, just go ahead and click on that link right there. We have over 1,000 video home tours. Other than that, peace.